Bassline gonna make man shatter. Bassline gonna make man shatter.
Good evening, everyone. Apologies about the delay there. We've just been sorting out a few things in the background. My name is James Head. Welcome along to EML Qualifiers. It is for console. It is Hungary, first and foremost, for Lobbies 1 and Lobby 2. As I've already told you, my name is James Head. I'll be taking you through the stream. Alongside me in the comment box, it is Mr. Michael Edwards. Mike, how you doing?
I am doing fantastic, James. Looking forward to getting into this because EML is back. And what a way to get under going once again. It is qualifying night. A lot of very high caliber teams involved in this, and it's going to be very intriguing to see which teams are going to make the cut.
High caliber teams indeed. We have got the likes of Team Chazoo coming up, the likes of ET8 here in the first lobby. We've got CPI in the first lobby, TTM. The list could go on, but why not have that list in a bit of a graphical form? Let's have a look at who is going to be competing in Lobby 1 tonight. We are due to have 13 drivers in, so if anybody is missing an invite, please do shout up either in the chat or on Discord, because if we're missing you, we're missing you. It's as simple as that. Lawrence, though, is in for EVE, and alongside him, normally, what would be in the Red Bull, because we're on multiplayer cars tonight, is MR Matteo, not to be confused with the Italian stallion Matteo, who you'll be seeing later on in Lobby 3. NVR Chelsea and ERT Casper are in for the Mercedes for Lobby 1. Flopman in for TTM, and then we've got Luke Rapata, who is our lobby host tonight, along with QSL Chowski. That's a bit of a mouthful to say. Karumi and Kenny are in as well, along with Alberto and Laurent. Laurent is the EPL man, of course. Jake in for EVR, and then Kagatkowski in as well for CPI. So it is going to be a really intriguing night. Very familiar names to me, because I've covered quite a few of these guys, actually, in terms of the racing before in Legacy Division as well. Along with that, TTM, FRT, ET8, and possibly CPI, I'm looking immediately to get out the blocks.
Yeah, I mean, ET8, obviously, defending champions from last season, and so many incredible race results they had last season. Like, my personal favorite from last season, James, I don't know if you agree with me on this one, Singapore.
Singapore? What happened in Singapore again?
3 wide going into the final 2 corners between
Oh, yeah.
Cameron from Shazoo, you had Devin for IRT, and you had Matteo in there.
Yeah, which actually is a very good race, and to be honest, I totally forgot about that, so that is my own wrongdoing on that front. But yeah, Singapore was a really good race last season. We had quite a few good races, I think, last season. I think Las Vegas was up there as well. It was one of my favourites, even though it was absolute carnage going down the back straight, certainly. And hopefully there will be more to come coming into tonight's action as well. We have currently got 11 drivers in the lobby still. Not sure if there's been any updates on Kenny and or the other man that is supposed to be here in, I think it's MR Matteo. Both of them are missing currently. We're going to wait until 10 past. If they're not here by 10 past, we are getting underway, and they can qualify in the second lobby if they are available for that. So that will seem
there
fair.
We go.
And
that answered the question that Kenny was asking me if he could join Lobby 2. What's called? He's running a bit late now, so he's got Ryan added. He's asked if he could join Lobby 2.
Lobby 2 is absolutely fine for Kenny, so ignore Kenny's name there on there. I think he is in for... Oh, I can't even read some of these logos, honestly. I'm going to have to... Mike will probably laugh at me for looking now on the camera at my screen. But he is in for DF.
Oh, he's actually managed to come in. He's managed to get in.
Oh, he's in. He's in. Lovely. So we are waiting on MR Matteo then. MR Matteo, even for Markensteiner Racing. Brand new team, of course, to the console side. Hopefully we'll be able to get in. Spreadsheet, by the way, I think has been kept up with everyone. Looking through the chat, good evening, by the way, to everyone that is tuning in. We are just literally waiting on one more driver to ready up, and they'll be good to go. We've got you, Mike, in the chat saying, let's go, EML is back, baby. Definitely so. Vila Princess saying, yeah, you can chat. Yes, you can chat in here, which is really good. Keep it above board, though, because I don't want to ban anyone. TNL Volakongen with a little bit of Norwegian in there as well. Nice to see Norwegian Hoi. I think, is it Hoi? For Norwegian, I don't know. Volakongen will definitely come at me for that one. Not Rasheen saying, go on, Lawrence, and also let's go Casper from JM Peltonen, who is an ERT supporter. That is for sure. We are going to get, though, out on track very, very soon indeed. Let's have a look, though, at the trials and tribulations of what these guys are going to face First and foremost, it is, of course, the Hungarian circuit, the Hungaroring, 4.3 kilometres in length, 2.7 mile, 14 turns right now with drivers out on track. 2 DRS zones, one down the start-finish straight in towards turn number 1, one down the hill and towards turn number 2, and plenty of opportunity around this track to get your lap time invalidated, which is going to be really key for qualifying night.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's infamously called Monaco without the walls. And there's no margin for error around this track. Obviously, going through turn number 4, very lethal that inside curve can be, and running wide on the outside curve can also invalidate your runs. And of course, the inside curve at turn 2 as well as turn 5 can catch you off guard.
It can catch you off guard indeed. Just literally looking now, coming into the lobby. We are getting going now into the first lobby. Matteo can make it if he can into the second lobby. NLR Ryan is going to be the lobby host. We're going to message him probably around about 5 minutes to go when the end of the session comes. It is clear weather, so everyone is qualifying on the same compound attire, and there is a good opportunity to get 4 runs in around this track as well. So, let us begin. 12 drivers here competing for 12 different teams. It is going to be a manic night. I hope you will be able to keep up. I'm in charge of this as well, so if anything goes wrong, you can blame it on me. Hopefully everything will go well and hopefully qualifiers will be well received, as we are going to see right down at the bottom end of the pit lane here, movement in the pit lane, and it looks like maybe ERT coming out first, I think, with Casper. It is somebody in a blue and white livery, which is very nice. Suits very nicely indeed the liveries that are going to be running. Gatkowski, I think, is, however, going to be one of the first guys out on track. And there he is, in fact, Gatkowski, coming through the left-hand with turn number 2. For CPI, they are probably favourites, or one of the favourites, at least from this lobby, to try and qualify.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I mean, Gatkowski, we've seen many times the pace that this guy has is unquestionable. And he has put in some fantastic performances in the past on previous game cycles. Obviously, new game, new challenges. Let's see if he can maintain what he had in the previous game cycles.
Yeah, I'm immediately going to say, by the way, just a random top 4 that is coming into my mind right now. I think it'll be TTM, CPI, FRT, and ET8. In one of those 4 different orders that you can get out of all 4 of them, one of them I think is going to come out on top in this session and will put the marker down here in Hungary. We've got 13 drivers, or 14 drivers potentially, to be here as well. But Gatkowski now coming through the final couple of corner and on the run toward the line. Does the stream say F123, by the way? It does. We'll have to change that after the stream has ended. Gatkowski on the run now down in towards turn 1. Let's see what the CPI man can do. He is a king of qualifying night for Legacy Division. Is he a king of qualifying night here in EML? Coming through the right-hander, turn number 1. Now down the left-hander in towards turn number 2. Open up that second DRS detection point. Locking up the front, coming through the left-hander, turn number 2. Then flicking it right again through turn number 3. And then towards my favourite section out on the track. At the top of the hill, coming through the left-hander turn number 4, where Felipe Massa, of course, had that bolt hitting him on the head and going cascaded into the wall back in 2007, getting away with a very, very lucky escape, I've got to say. As Gatkowski now gets a lucky escape on the curb, coming through turns 5 and 6, now coming toward turn 8, then through the right-hander now, turn number 9, and into the left-hander, turn number 10, and this lap is looking very, very neat and tidy so far from Gatkowski. Should be around a 52.5 or 52.4 in that middle sector, looking really good indeed from Gatkowski so far, as he's purple in that middle sector, now coming through the left-hander, turn number 13. We'll see what the CPI man can do. This is going to be the first lap to be set and put on record for everyone else to look at, and for everyone else to try and beat. Gatkowski now through the final corner, on the run to the line. It's a 1:13.517 to start off the night.
Yeah, fantastic lap there from Gatkowski, getting a very, very good lap time on the board out of the bat, and it's immediately beaten by Flopman. So there we go, Flopman coming through and displacing Gatkowski for the time being.
Definitely so. Luca Rapata now on the run to the line, and he now gets Flopman off pole position. So Luca Rapata now out on top in the session. Lauren's coming in there in second. Bit of a rogue name, I've got to say, from my perspective anyways. Haven't really commentated on the guy, but Lauren's there in second, doing well, and he's actually quicker than Flopman. So that is definitely so far a very good lap time on the ball. Karumi now coming through the left-hander of turn number 12 into the left-hander now, turn number 13. I did say left-hander at turn number 12 there. Right-hander at turn number 12 is what I meant to say. And actually, Karumi is back into the pit lane from Ecstasy. So he is into the pit lane. Down in P12, Laurent was invalidated. I think he invalidated actually through the final corner. This and next lap invalidation would have been, I think, a 13.5, if I'm not mistaken, on his invalid lap time. But it's currently Luke Rapatavad on top. Lawrence in second, Flopman in third, and honestly, Mike, so far, it's exactly how I expected it to go, bar that man in second.
Yeah, I mean, EVE can be very happy with Lawrence opening lap right there, putting themselves up in the top two, nice and early on. Obviously, a couple of drivers yet to get a lap on the board. Of course, Jake for EVR, and of course, EPL's Lauren T. Chelsea there down in 11th, and of course, Karumi, who we saw invalidate his lap and come into the pit lane, and Chelsea's back out on track.
Chelsea is back out on track. The former NVR man, now part of FRT once again after NVR did close down. Chelsea now coming through the left-hander of turn number 2, then through the right-hander of turn number 3. Just seeing that change, by the way, from DLX coming through, which I'll mention about in due course for Lobby 3. Chelsea, though, purple in the first sector, 26.4. He is one of the drivers here on Xbox. I think 1 out of the 2, that if I'm not mistaken, is in here. Not sure who that is joining the lobby. That might be our mysterious MR Mateo that is joining the session there. Chelsea now coming through the left-hander of turn number 9, then through the right-hander of turn number 10, in toward the left-hander now of turn number 10. Then through the right-hander, turn number 11. I definitely have sucked at maths. Chelsea now through the middle sector. 52.4 is on par with Gatkowski. So Gatkowski's lap time, just for benefit, 13.517. Bit of a snap there coming through turn number 12. Now through the left-hander, turn number 13. And Chelsea's looking very, very good for FRT. Did qualify in Legacy Division in Season 3 around this track as well. So they have got good form. Chelsea now coming through the final corner on the run to the line. And it's exactly where I've expected them to be. A 13.599, a thousandth of a second of a 13.6.
Yeah, and just an update on MR Mateo. What's called hasn't received an invite, so I've given him the heads up to add Ryan for the following lobby.
Yeah, Lobby 2, he will be able to compete because there are plenty of spaces in Lobby 2, which is really good, and that's how I've worked this out, because it was meant to be 36 teams. We put it down to 26 teams because drivers actually didn't want to, or teams actually didn't want to qualify in this event, which I honestly don't blame them to. But the ones that are here, I'm really, really happy they are here as well, and that means an even split. 13-13 is what we should be seeing in most of the lobbies here tonight, as EVR replacing WR Esports for this event, now coming to the right-hander of turn number 6 and 7 with Jake. He is a very consistent driver on the WR side as well, is this man. Now coming to the right-hander of turn number 9, running a very nice red and blue livery, I've got to say, on the car as well. Now coming through the right-hander of turn number 11, his middle sector split is slightly off, 52.7. Expect him, though, I think, Mike, to go maybe between that gap of Alberto and Kenny, as long as he stays balanced.
Yeah, absolutely. He's on course to split Alberto and Kenny, as long as he can keep it all valid. As it comes up to the line right now, and it's going to be... I mean, you can't call it any better than that, can you?
Yeah, 13.933, and he's gone behind Alberto. Exactly. It was, I mean, to be honest, it's one of the biggest gaps I think I've ever seen in qualifying for that lap time. It was a very good margin, and actually Karumi has just had a 13.8 as well. So hopefully, Luke Rapatavad on top, Lawrence in second, Flopman in third. Let's focus, though, on the main guys. Oh, as Gatkowski is in the wall nearly, coming out at turn number 11. Huge snap of overseer from the CPI man. Very lucky to keep that car alive. That could have been curtains already for CPI. How on earth Gatkowski is in there, I do not know. He's there in fourth position. Luke Rapatavad on top, Flopman in second. Flopman, though, not proving to be a flop so far on this lap. He's purple in the middle sector.
Yep, Flopman is flying right now and coming through the final couple of corners to see what he can do. He's currently in third. It's a good lap from him so far. Luca Rapazza improving though. And will Flopman be able to respond? He gets up to P2 but unable to top Luca Rapazza's time.
Yeah, he does nearly top the time, but in the end, Luca Rapazza on top, Flopman second, Lawrence there in third. Flopman, by the way, will go absolutely mental, as I'm sure will TTM for me saying that. I have got wrong for him already this week for saying that on another stream. So there we are. Cativo, by the way, is MR Mateo, and that's a very nice looking livery, I've got to say, for the MR team. So that is Cativo, up there, otherwise known as MR Mateo, not to be confused with R Mateo, who is coming up in Lobby 3. Also 411 Cativo, Mateo, to you and me, now coming through the middle sector, 52.7, on par with that lap time that Jake set and where Kenny set, so expect them to go around about this, as long as he stays valid, which he just about does coming through turn number 12. Now for Mark and Steiner Racing coming through the left-hand return 13, and then through the right-hand return number 14. Yes, IRT is second lobby, by the way. I think it's Raul Ruiz, if I'm not mistaken, who is in for them. Cativo on the run to the line goes exactly where I expect them to go. What is it with me and my predictions so far? They're right on bang, they're absolutely bang on so far.
You have put a lottery on tonight, haven't you?
I haven't.
Oh, you're missing a golden opportunity there. You missed a golden opportunity.
I've definitely missed a golden opportunity, put it that way. 70 of you, by the way, watching. IRT are qualifying in Lobby 2. In fact, actually, if I... because we have got a couple of outlaps, what I will do is flick this up on my studio mode and can confirm that Raul Ruiz is in for IRT. In the next lobby, we have got Zria Deck for TGF. LRN have got Raymond, Raul Ruiz is in there for IRT, then a CRE Blast in for CRE, WR Assy in for FGE, then we've got Danny Van Ruyten, very big name for PSF1 fans, he's there for Team Chazoo, GT10 Boyalulo, hope I pronounced that right, FRC, without a logo on Lobby 2 and 4, have got Jerem in, and then Enduro have got Matty Mox, AMS have got Palang, NLR Ryan is in for NLR, BRT Joe Murphy, very much looking forward to seeing how he gets on. And obviously you've got Rally Monster in as well. And that is how Lobby 2 will go. And I will bring up that graphic in due course. But we have got more lap times going on right now. Chelsea up in the first sector, 26.3.
Yep, Chelsea coming through turn 5 right now, coming up to the chicane of 6 and 7. Very easy to take too much of the curves and unsettle your car. But Chelsea getting through there, absolutely no issues whatsoever. Coming through turn 9 and 10 in towards the fast right-hander of 11, and there's an invalidation there, and he was a 10th up.
Yeah, and a 52.3 was actually looking really, really decent indeed. Luke Rapata out on top, Flopman there in second, Lawrence there in third, Gatkowski there in fourth, Gatkowski speaking of which is just starting up on a lap time, as is this man down here in P13 right now for OVR, not to be confused with EPL. EPL Laurent on the run up the hill in toward the left-hander of turn number 4, then through the right-hander turn number 5. 26.9 is desperately poor through the first sector. We've seen 26 threes, 26 fours from Chelsea there in that first sector. Laurent is off the pace earlier on, and OVR really needs him to come alive. The former EPL man now coming to the right-hander at turn number 9, in toward the left-hander at turn number 10, and in toward the end of this middle sector split. So we'll have to see how he gets on through this middle sector. 53.2, I'm going to put my house on the line, that's saying he's going to go ahead of Chowski here.
I mean, I'm currently on board with Kigakowski, 3/10 up on his lap time in the middle sector. And they're coming through turn 12 right now. Kigakowski is looking to get himself in potential position to jump ahead of Luca Rapazzi here.
Oh, and my house is getting sold because Laurent is behind Chowski there, coming across the line. Gatkowski, as we go to him, is on the run to line for CPI and goes actually between Luke Rapata and Flopman. So goes second there for CPI. Very good lap time from him. Luke Rapata for ETA out on top. CPI in second with Gatkowski. Flopman there in third. My only other prediction that I made was having FRT in the top 4, and currently Chelsea is disappointing me right now. They're in 5th position. Otherwise, it's pretty much how I expected this session to go.
I mean, I stayed on board with Chelsea to see what lap time Chelsea would have done crossing the line. And it would have been ahead of EVE Lawrence, but EVE Lawrence about to get another lap underway, and Flopman coming through the middle sector right now. Improving the first sector, but we're going to see what his middle sector split is going to be looking like, coming through turn 11 right now. What is Flopman doing? He's nearly 2 turns up.
He is absolutely charging on this lap time, the Frenchman, the PSF1 man for both WR and Crossplayer Tier 1, both WR and indeed for PSGL PSF1, now coming through the left-hander, turn number 13, now through the right-hander into the final corner at turn 14, doesn't want to do a Sebastian Vettel coming out of here, Flopman on the run to the line, going to be first 12 of the night, ooh, 13 flat. from Flopman. Goes quicker ahead of Luca Rapata, and it's a good 10.5 difference between Flopman and Luca Rapata right now. So Flopman, TTM, are here to absolutely play, as are ET8 and CPI right now in second and third, but Flopman, TTM, they mean business. They were part of that Legacy Division lineup, that EML lineup even, last season, and TTM are definitely wanting to qualify again.
Yeah, absolutely, and Flopman doing fantastically at the top of the times right now. We've got Lawrence coming through the final corner, and we're going to see what Lawrence can do. To the line will come Lawrence, and it's an improvement, but it's not enough to get up any positions.
Yeah, not enough to get up any positions. Speaking of improvements, Alberto went there 5th for DLX, so Chelsea definitely needs to get a lap time in. If you said his lap time was ahead of Lawrence, then I'm expecting it to be ahead of Lawrence. There is no other way about it from the ex-NVR man. Flopman though out on top from Luke Rapata in second, Gatkowski there in third. 78 of you, by the way, tuning in. Thank you so much to every single one of you for tuning in tonight, even though there is no Twitter social media presence right now with Maze lined up on the couch somewhere. Everything has been running through Discord, and I can say, hopefully, you are enjoying the stream. If you are, give us a like, give us a comment, give us a subscribe there as well, if you are new to the channel, and of course, more action to come, because we've still got 3 lobbies out of this as well, and no matter what your lap time is, there is still a chance you can qualify. Drivers can literally nearly spin the car, as I was about to say, with Emma Mateo, nearly flicking the car through turn number 12 and 13. Not sure if there's any style points potentially for Martin Steiner Racing, currently down in 8th position, but he's definitely starting that car out with a very unstable setup.
Yeah, absolutely, and a little bit all over the place there, as I am trying to make sure that we are able to move swiftly on with Lobby 2, so I'm just meshing to get our invite sorted from right in 2 seconds.
Yep, which you will see probably pop up on my screen in a couple of minutes' time. It is Flopman though, out on top from Luke Rapata in second, Gatkowski there in third. Top tier motorsport there in chat, saying if I speak I'm in big trouble. Interesting, let us know what that's about, because I actually want to hear that. Jake on the run there down in towards the first corner with EVR. Evolution Racing, of course, participating for the first time actually in EML qualifiers. They're on the run now down into the left-hander at turn number 2 with Jake. They've got their driver to come, Lobby 3 as well. Now coming to the right-hander turn number 3, we'll see what this lap time and what this first sector actually is going to be from EVR Jake. Is it competitive? Yeah, 26.5, very respectful coming through the first sector. Probably quicker than mine and Mike's pace, I'll be honest, coming through the first sector, but Jake is doing very neatly indeed, now coming through the right-hander of turn 6, then through the left-hander at turn number 7, rides the curb aggressively through there, nearly invalidates coming on his lap time, now through the right-hander at turn number 9, then through the left-hander at turn number 10, and then through the right-hander of turn number 11. Jake through the middle sector, 52.7, on par, probably, with Kativo and right now Karumi.
Yeah, it's looking good right now for Jake on his run, and we're going to see what he can do as he is in the final couple of corners. Coming through the final corner now. To the line will come Jake. Oh, big snap on the final corner, and I think that lost him everything.
It did lose him everything. I think he was down on his time anyways. He came across the line 4 tenths down on his previous best. So disappointing there from Jake there, down in 9th. We have got the final lap times coming in. Chelsea is down, but he is going to go again, I think, on another lap. We've got DF Kenny on a lap. We've got Casper on a lap, who should be up there, really, in terms of qualifying. He's 2 tenths up, actually, now, on his lap time for ERT. ERT, of course, looking to try and get into Tier 2 once again this season. Now coming through the left-hander of turn number 13, then through the right-hander of turn number 14. Nordic Ninja saying in the chat, I need to violate Flopman like he did right. I did it on Monday, don't worry. I'm not saving anything else back for tonight. Casper on the run to the line, goes into P10. Of course, we do have 2 tiers this season in Console Tier 1 and Console Tier 2, and that is going to form the top 20 teams, basically form the top tiers, the top 2 tiers, I should say, coming out on top. Flopman though out on top right now, and he is finding the time in the middle sector. Even despite a scrappy turn 8 and 9, he's up on his time, and he's purple in that middle sector. For TTM now, coming to the left-hander at turn number 13. We'll see what this lap time is going to be. It's looking a very, very good lap. Could we even sneak into the 112.9s? Flopman through the final corner. The Frenchman on the run to line for TTM. Nearly a 12.9, but a 13th flat will definitely suffice. Gatkowski on the run to line doesn't improve. Chelsea is 2,000th down on his lap time. Needs to find 2.5 tenths from somewhere to get my prediction bang on. Chelsea now through the final corner on the run to the line. And he doesn't find the time in the end at 13.3. He gained 2.5 tenths on that lap, but it's not enough to beat Laurens. It is Flopman out on top. Luke Rapatra in second, Gatkowski there in third, as Kativo is through the final corner, invalidated, flying that car into the wall. Invalid lap time down in 8th position, but Flopman out on top, Luke Rapatra in second, it's TTM from ET8 from CPI, exactly how I expected this to go.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the guys at the top, not a massive shock to see them at the top. Obviously they are incredible drivers, and I mean, as you said, you know, they're doing times much better than what you and I could do. I mean, to be honest, I think we're both washed at this point, James.
To be honest, I think even if there was a console tier 3, I think I wouldn't even be able to make it for any team regardless. It's Flopman out on top, from Luke Rapatra in second, Gatkowski there ran off the top 3, with Laurens there in fourth. Really big shock, I've got to say. The Avisio man there in fourth, NVR Chelsea there in fifth for FRT, DLX Alberto in sixth, good qualifying from him, Perumi there in seventh, Kativo, late to the session. What would have been like if we had more practice there in 8th position? Drake there in 9th, Casper ran off the top 10, then Kenny, Laurent, who's the disappointment, I think, of this session, and Chowski there down in P13. Aiden as well there in the chat saying ERT a Tier 2 championship. Yes, they are indeed. Kieran Humphreys, I think, was part of that team, if I am not mistaken. We're going to hotfoot it, though, into Lobby 2. And while we do that, you can enjoy a nice intermission break for now, with a little bit of music as well. So we'll be back with you in a couple of minutes.
Baseline gonna make man shatter. Baseline gonna make man shut up. Baseline gonna make man shut up.
Welcome back, everyone, to Esports Masters League. This is the console tier qualifying night. It is Hungary once again, and this is Lobby 2. Myself, James Head, Michael Edwards alongside me in the commentary box. We are waiting on one more driver currently to join the lobby, who I'm not mistaken is WR Assy for FGE, so we are waiting for them to join. Everyone else is in the lobby, which means we're not only catching up time, we are going to be good to go in just a couple of minutes. But run you through who is going to be competing for each team. In Lobby 2, for TGF, we have got Zwiadek. I hope that is the right pronunciation. LRN Raymond is in for League Racing Netherlands. Then we've got IRT with Raul Ruiz, who's a very consistent driver on his day. CRE have replaced Blast in with Blunty, so Blunty is now in for CRE. WRC, as I mentioned, is having troubles joining the lobby, so hopefully he'll be able to get in very soon. Danny Van Rooyen in for Team Chazoo. He might be the star man to watch out for in this session. Boyolulo in there for Grand Track 10. And then we've got FRC Yarem, who was racing for the French outfit. Then we've got Enduro Matimox, another French outfit for him. So Matimox racing for Enduro. AMS, who, not to be confused with, is not the Xbox side of things. It is the PlayStation side. And they've got Palang in the lobby. NLR Ryan, an absolute GOAT when it comes to EML for getting lobbies relatively running on time. He's in for NLR. Then we've got BLT Joe Murphy, who I'm very much looking forward to see how he gets on around here in Hungary. Did pick up a podium finish in Legacy Division around here as well last season. And Rally E Monster is in for RSC as well. So looking through, by the way, Mike is still alongside me in the commentary box, if people were wondering why it's just me waffling on as always. Looking at Lobby 2, I would say standout names in this lobby immediately. Raul Ruiz, Danny Van Rooyen, Ryan, Joe Murphy. They'll probably be your top 4 by the end of the session.
Yeah, it's hard to look past those those 4 guys. Danny Van Rooyen, obviously Raul Ruiz, Ryan. They're 3 names that stand out for me at the moment. I'm not gonna lie.
And Assy has just joined the lobby as well, which means we are good to go, which means we'll be transitioning to the track very, very soon indeed for lobby number 2. A big thank you, by the way, to Luke Rapata, to Ryan, and to Matteo for all hosting a very short notice, I'll be honest, as well. All of these lobbies here tonight. It is an absolute godsend that we have ET8 and NLR representing the lobbies here tonight. Whether or not they're representing themselves in 2 lobbies' time, and for Season 7 of Console Tier 1 is a different thing. But hopefully, everything is going to go according to plan. Pray that a goal goes according to plan, but we are good to go. So if you, Mike, can give Ryan the nod, because Assy is in, we are good to go.
Yep, I will give Ryan the message right now.
Let's
be getting underway.
Let's have a look in the chat. Zwiadek is on top of the list. It says it all. Pronunciation was good enough. I write it. Thank you so much, by the way, for that. That's Snoopy there in the chat. Crispy in the chat saying, why am I seeing an F1 23 League? Shooting the title is wrong. It is wrong. I need to change that after tonight. Please don't have me at that again in the chat. Harvey says James knows. Apparently I know something, which is good. Tip in the chat saying it is Crispy. Adam saying let's go Joe, and Harvey also asking if anyone asked sheet has been updated for Lobby 1 time. So actually, let's have a look at that. It won't be up on your screen, but I'm going to get it up on my iPad and tell you who is currently out on top. And I mean, it's pretty simple to know who's out on top, because I don't think we've had any steward reports or anything coming through, which means that currently out on top right now, it's ETM.
Yep, TTM on top, Flopman with a incredible lap time. Of course, ET8 in the second, the CPA in third. Going to be very interesting to see how Lobby 2 stacks up with the times from Lobby 1. Of course, if you are OVR and QSL, you're going to be biting your fingernails a little bit, just to hopefully try and make it through. But it's going to be interesting, James.
It will be very interesting indeed. Looking through, looks like we might have had a change potentially for a lobby, lobby 4, I think, for some team with MR. I think it's MR that are switching to lobby 4, if I'm not mistaken, for the second. Just seeing that in the spreadsheet. TTM though, add on top for me, TPI, EVE, then FRT, DLX, EXT, MR, EVR, ERT, DF, QVR, QSL. There we go. Got there in the end. That is how everything is landed at the end of Lobby 1. Here we go, though. Going straight into Lobby 2. Let us know in the chat who you're supporting. I'm immediately going to put myself on the line by saying Joe Murphy is going to top the session.
I know better than to make predictions. My predictions never come true. So and also I curse a lot of people, so I'm not making any predictions.
That cat in the background sounded like it's going to curse a lot of people as well. Just heard the meow in the background. I'm not sure if anybody else heard that. I certainly did hear that on my end. Nordic Ninja in the chat saying Ryan will cook. Yeah, Ryan I think is going to be up there as well. I just think Joe Murphy, with his experience around this track, he did pick up a podium finish around here in WR Console Tier 1, and I believe he was on the podium here in Legacy Division as well. So he has got very good form around this track. He's a Console Tier 2 champion in WR. He's also a current crossplay Tier 1 driver in WR as well. And speaking of the man, he's one of the first add-on track for BRT, who are looking to qualify with a being console for the first time ever. So let's see what Joe Murphy and everyone else can do out on track. Aiden there saying in the chat, Joe's just him. Do I tend to agree with that, or am I going to look a little bit biased towards BRT by saying that?
I mean, you pointed it out now, so like I feel like you have to say it now.
I think I've just dug my own grave, quite literally, I think, from that comment. Joe Murphy, that was the first man out on track. He is going to be the first to set up on a lap time as well. Let's have a look, actually, at what everyone's tyres is on. Not that it matters, because everyone will be on a set of soft compound of tyres. Let's see how everything will go on. And Aiden also saying he's now TTM. He was formerly BRT, if I'm not mistaken, on F123. Good to see a familiar face from the WR lands here in the chat as Joe Murphy now comes through in towards the final couple of corners. And Mike, I'm going to let you talk you through this one.
Okay, so coming down the south end straight, DRS wide open as we run down towards turn number 1. Looking for the break-in. Around about 75 meters out, getting the car rotated, big lock up on the front right as we go through turn number 1, heading down now in towards turn number 2. DRS wide open once again. A little bit of a clip on the outside curb on the entry, but it did not affect him massively there for Murphy. Climbing up the hill now towards turn number 4 is all going to be valid here. 26.5 in the first sector, still all valid here for Murphy. And coming through turn number 5, staying away from that inside curve into the chicane of 6 and 7. Cleanly done there from Murphy. Through turns 8 and 9 now, carrying the momentum of the car through the corners. Coming through the left hander of turn number 10, through the right hander now of turn number 11. Stiff gear, the gear choice there at 52.2 in the middle sector as we come down into the break-in. Again, clipping the curve on the inside. Causing a little bit of a lock-up, a little bit unsettled, but gets through turn 12 and obviously through 13 now. Absolutely lovely stuff for Murphy for the final corner. What is it going to be? What's going to be the first time of the session? To the line he'll come.
Wow.
And it's a 13.2.
That is a strong start to the session. When Raul Ruiz comes in there for IRT, who were a part of Console Tier 1 last season, or PlayStation Tier 1 as was known as back in the day. Ryan being 5/10 off Joe Murphy as well is shocking. I think Ryan should be a lot closer than that, but it's Joe Murphy out on top, Danny Van Roten there in second, Ryan there in third, Raul Ruiz in fourth. Take a photo, because it probably won't last that top 4 right now, but it's another prediction, again, that I'm going right. Boyalula there to the line for GT10, going into 5th ahead as Riadek there for TGF. We've got ex-WR Menanasi running wide there, coming through turn number 4. He's part of FGE, of course, these days. Coming through the right-hander of turn number 5 there, and he is down in that first sector and invalidated in that first sector as well. Matimox now coming through for Enduro on the run toward the line, and they're enduring a 14.6 to start off the session, which is a very neat lap time indeed by Enduro. Rally Monster there coming to split the pair between himself and Palang to go into 8th position, as he has mentioned is not on a lap. Raymond and Blunty haven't left the pit lane just yet, but Joe Murphy out on top. Danny Van Roten in second, NL Ryan in third, Raul Ruiz in fourth. You may as well call me Mr. James on this chat.
Honestly, I just said it before and I say it again. Like, you missed an opportunity to put the lottery on. I'm just saying.
I've missed an opportunity to put the lottery on every time, and honestly, the numbers don't even come up, but there we are. Joe Murphy, though, out on top. Danny Van Roten in second. Ryan there in third. Mookie there in the chat supporting RSC. Ale Ale Rally Gola RRC. I hope I pronounced that right. My French has been picking up somewhat with Paris Olympics. That's been on. Bonjour, comment ça va? There you go. That's about as much French as I'll give you on this stream. But Blunty is the next man to come on a lap time for CRE. Late change up with their lineup. It was due to be for CRE Blast, and now it's Blunty. And Blunty, actually, I have commentated on before because he is a crossplay tier 1 man, and he's also here to try crossplay tier 2 man, I think. And he's also pretty quick in crossplay tier 2 for WR as well. So, Blunty will be hoping for a good performance, and I expect them to go Boyolulo's rear deck, that sort of area.
I mean, this is the first opportunity I've had of being able to watch Blunty at work, so I'm going to have to take your word for it for right now. But he is getting himself geared up to go on to a flying lap. Yet to get a lap time on the board yet, it is Blunty, but he's about to get his lap underway here, James.
He is indeed, and Blunty now coming through the final corner on the run toward the line. Let's see what he is capable of on this lap time, as he was part of the lineup, of course, for the once cancelled social race about 2 or 3 weeks ago in Mexico. Blunty now coming to the right-hander of turn number 1, now down the hill in toward the left-hander of turn number 2. We'll ride on board with the likes of Ruiz, Ryan, and them in due course. Blunty is the first man out on track, just by riding on board with him up the hill. In toward the left-hander now, turn number 4. We'll see what his first sector split is like. 26.6 is respectable. Coming through the first sector. Not lightning quick, but it is alongside Boyoludo's rear deck, Matimox. All of those guys, probably that is where his aim is, as he flies through the chicane. Very nicely taken through turn 6 and 7. Now through 8, now through the right-hander turn number 9. Pretty stable setup on the car as well. Now through the left-hander turn number 10, and into the right-hander turn number 11. I'm going to go 52.8 in this middle sector. Oh, 52.7 with a mistake in that middle sector as well. Coming through the right-hander turn number 12, then through the left-hander turn number 13. This is looking like a 14.2, 14.3 range, I think, for Blunty after that mistake. Again, sliding the car nicely, coming out of turn 13. On through the right-hander now, turn number 14. We'll see what Blunty's lap is on the run towards the line. And it's a 1.14 flat in the end, and he actually goes ahead of Boyoludo. That is staggeringly better than what I expected.
Yep, Blunty putting a good lap in there, up into 5th in the lobby. He's definitely going to need more time if he wants to try and make sure that he can get into the top 10 overall. Because obviously in lobby 1, there was a lot of drivers in the 13s.
There were a lot of drivers in the 13s indeed. Raymond now trying to make him sure and put himself into the 13s. Doesn't, but a 14 flat is very respectful. He goes ahead of Boyoludo, behind Blunty. Boyoludo, speaking of which, is just starting up on a lap time. Assy, I think, is going to be one of the furthest on the lap time, along with Zwiadek, who I think is also on a run just ahead of him. Right on board with the TGF man. Joe Murphy, though, with a 13.1. Didn't expect him on a lap time, to be honest, but Joe Murphy out on top once again. Danny Van Ruyten in second, Ryan there in third, and actually seeing some of the cars now coming through the final couple of corners. Zwiadek is the next man to come across the line. I think Danny Van Ruyten is through the first sector somewhere, if I'm not mistaken, as now Zwiadek comes through the final corner. 13.8 to the line. 14 flat again. Everyone seems to be putting in a 14 flat right now. Joe Murphy out on top. Danny Van Ruyten in second. Danny Van Ruyten's response in the middle sector. 52.3, which is off Joe Murphy in that middle sector.
Yeah, and Ryan finding more time there. 13.4 for Ryan, popping up into P2. Danny Van Ruyten now coming through the final corner. Marginally up in the middle sector. Let's see if we can find more time in the final sector, though. To the line will come the Shazuman. And he does find time and moves it back up ahead of Ryan.
And given he's still what though, 3/10 off, and 3/10, even if this was going into the race, 3/10 around this track is absolutely monumental to have, even though this is just qualifying night. Regardless, it is just monumental to have that sort of gap early on. Just come to show what a quality driver Joe Murphy is right now. The BRT man currently out on top from Team Chazoo there in second with Danny Van Ruyten. Enelor in third with Ryan, and Raul Ruiz currently there in fourth for IRT. So IRT looking quite good potentially to put themselves in the line. Rally E Monster on the run to the line as well, goes into 11th, 14.7 with a 4/10 improvement on his run, so goes ahead of Yerem. Yerem is not on a lap time right now. Neither is Palang, and Matimox I don't think is on a lap time either. So everyone is down or coming into the pit lane, which means Joe Murphy out on top, Danny Van Rooyen second, Ryan there in third, which means also we can have a look at what is going to be happening coming forward into Lobby 3. And Lobby 3 has got some big names, not only from EML past, but also from PSGL as well. The defending PSGL PSF1 champion Armateo is in the next lobby, along with TTM Nick, very much an unknown name, formerly of Team Chazoo, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. FRT Typical, former NVR driver. ERT Lynx, a former TML F1 champion back in the day as well. They are the headline names to look forward to going into Lobby 3. Rivalries, though, Mike is coming through the final corners to start up on his next lap.
Yep, and coming for the final corners is Raul Louise. As I've just had the invitation, I'm sure you just had it as well. As Raul Louise getting us underway here on the run down towards turn number 1 for IRT.
He does indeed. Let's ride on board then with IRT's Rivalries, now coming through the left-hander turn number 1. The right-hander turn number 1, now through the left-hander in towards turn number 2. We'll see what this lap time is going to be from Rivalries. He looked slow, I've got to be honest. Coming through turn 2 there, just riding that curve, just lost him a bit of time. First sector split, looks might be deceiving. 26.5, he's a tenth and a half up, but he's not now because he's run too far wide at turn 4 and he's invalid.
Yeah, the next man on our lap is, of course, Asi, yet to get a lap time on the board so far. And the pressure, I think, is beginning to mount for this man.
Pressure is mounting for the XWR man as well, now part, of course, of FGE. And we'll see what Asi's first sector is like. 26.5, but he again falls foul, coming through the left-hander turn number 4. It's a very difficult corner. That's why I said it's one of my favourite parts of the track, because I can actually nail that pretty much on a 35-lap race around here every single time. League of Europe experience will probably tell me for that one. If anybody is in the chat and has seen me race in League of Europe, you will know what I'm on about. But he's down 11-13th, no lap time on the board. FGE really need to just settle him down, try and get a lap time on the board, even if it's a 1:17 or a 1:18, and then he goes on to a flying lap. That could still be very, very key, I think, for Asi and his confidence.
Yeah, I think Asi just needs to get a lap time on the board. Just even if it's obviously an invalid lap time where you can just have that delta to work with now, just try and build the confidence. That's all he needs right now.
It is all he needs right now, indeed. Chav in the chat. Speaking of LOE, he's one of the organisers there right now. Good evening, that was weird timing with LOE. It's because you were here. Boy Lulu now on the run to the line. Goes 6th with a 14 flat. Everyone seems to be coming in with a 14 flat. Joe Murphy is invalidated on a lap time. 52.7 in that middle sector. Danny Van Rooyen just starting up on a lap. Ryan on a lap right now, and Raul Ruiz is on a lap coming through this middle sector as well. And the IRT man has run so far out wide, I think he would have been going into the stands if he went any closer toward the wall there. And Raul Ruiz is 4/10 down in the middle sector. Ryan, however, in this middle sector, we'll see what he is going to be doing. A little bit sketchy coming out of turn number 9 there, now through 10 and 11. Middle sector split. 52.3. He is up on a lap time, but NLR Ryan, he said to me earlier on, he definitely wasn't confident coming into Hungary, definitely wasn't his best track, and that is proving this right now. The NLR man coming through the final cut of the corner, and he will be very safe. I think NLR will be very safe on this lap time right now, but Ryan now coming through the final corner, 13.3? 13.3 from Ryan, just about, and he goes 13,000. Yeah, Danny Van Rooyen, though, is coming through, as you mentioned, and he is, what, 500 up through the middle sector, now coming to the final corner, on the run toward the line. Danny Van Rooyen goes ahead of Ryan, so they trade positions again. Joe Murphy may as well run Tyrad on top, Danny Van Rooyen second, Ryan in third.
I think if you're Joe Murphy and you want to see if you can get into the 12s, I think that's going to be his aim by you, because obviously, right now, overall, it puts BRT second overall, if I remember correctly, because I believe we saw a 13 flat from TTM in Lobby 1.
Yeah, you're correct. I think Joe Murphy will go ahead of, I think it was Luca Rapazza that was second in the first lobby. So Joe Murphy currently looking really, really good. I'm sure everyone behind the scenes, my admins, well, not my admins, EML's admins in the background is going to be working around the clock to get all of these lap times in. Jerem improved to a 14.350, so he's went there in 12th. RSC there down in 11th right now with Roddy Monster. He just came off a lap time, not improving. Palang on a lap time as well right now. But Joe Murphy out on top, Danny Van Rooyen in second, Ryan there in third. Doesn't matter what level of lap time that you set around here in Hungary and in Texas, 20 positions are available for console tier 1, 10 for console tier 1, 10 for console tier 2. So no matter if you don't get into the top 10 within console tier 1 and you miss out by a couple of thousandths of a second, you're likely to be one of the top teams in console tier 2, which is still going to be very rewarding.
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing that was quite rewarding is Asi did manage to get a lap on the board in the end, a 13.9 from him.
Yeah, 13.9, and that was on what? 2 lap old? So we might have went for what I mentioned, do a 17 or do an invalid lap time and then potentially go on this run. But Joe Murphy out on top, Danny Van Ruyten there in second, Ryan there in third. Little Vera there in the chat, a very familiar name to EML in the past as well. Said, I heard some guys are on 12s, I reckon. I mean, laps are great, of course. Yeah, Flopman with a 13 flat currently tops the timings out of the first 2 lobbies. Joe Murphy there with a 13.1 right now. So Joe Murphy, 13.1, currently he's there in second. He's going for more glory though, as I've just received that invitation from Matteo with 2 minutes to go in the session. Joe Murphy through the middle sector, 51.9 in the middle sector. Are you having me on? This is an absolute incredible lap from Joe Murphy coming in here. The fake Irishman, as I call him in WR console tier 1, now to the left-hander of turn number 13, in towards the right-hander of turn number 14, a blistering lap time coming in. He may as well stop across the line, Neil still said at 12. On the run to the line, 13 flat in the end, but it is an incredible lap time from Joe Murphy. There is no doubt about who's topping this session. It's just whether or not anybody can follow that up.
Honestly, he even lost a little bit of time in the final sector as well. He was on course to get into the 12s, but the little bit of time he lost in the final sector does mean he stays behind Flopman for TTM.
41 thousandths of a second behind Flopman's time right now for Joe Murphy. Does BRT have the cheek to say, if you've got enough fuel, put it down to none, try and get another lap in and go for a 12? Is that what they're going to be saying to him right now?
Maybe we'll have to wait and see. I'm not entirely sure what they're going to do by here. Of course, he is gaining his ERS back, but it is flashing on the fuel for him, so I don't think he will have enough fuel for this.
Yeah, which is a shame. We want to see a 12, to be honest, from Joe Murphy. Let's just face it. Boy, Lilo's 200s down in the first sector. Raul Ruiz, I think, is down on his lap time, which is why I'm not showing him right now. It looks like he is ERS harvesting, and I don't think he's actually going to get another run in, so Raul Ruiz is done.
Ryan a 10th up in sector 1.
Yeah, 900s up, nearly a 10th up even, coming through now the chicane at turn 6 and 7. Then through the left-hander of turn number 8 and the right-hander of turn number 9. Raul Ruiz was down the lap time, so I think his session is done. He's coming out of turn number 1, if I'm not mistaken. Ryan now coming through the right-hander of turn number 11, 52.1. So he is sort of on par with Joe Murphy's middle sector, but Joe Murphy lost all of that time in the final sector, remember. About a 10th and a half he lost on his lap. Ryan could gain that, and it could be pretty much level as Joe Murphy now retires from the session. Dan Van Ruyten in second, Ryan there in third. Ryan coming in with a very good lap time here, does gain that time through the final sector, and does go second with a 13.2, as close as I've seen Ryan so far this session. Danny Van Ruyten, though, coming through the right-hander of turn number 9. The Indian Ballad coming out of turn number 9 there. Now through the left-hander of 10, through the right-hander of turn number 11. Looking really decent indeed. 52.3. He's purple on his own map, but he's still down.
Yeah, Blundy coming through the final corner. He's over a 10th up on his middle sector. He's going to come to the line.
Nice.
Goes up into P5. So a good lap there for Blundy. As you mentioned, Danny Van Ruyten coming to the end of his lap now. What's he going to do? And no improvement.
Yeah, and the Minimax champion, the Rotox Minimax champion from Belgium, and indeed from the Netherlands as well. 3-time karting champion he is, Danny Van Ruyten in real life. They're in P3. And Boyalulu there in 4th. I think shocking everyone, to be honest, as Raul Ruiz didn't get that lap time in. Many drivers improved, including Boyalulu. Grand Track there sitting well with a 13.8. But there's a chasm between Danny Van Ruyten and himself with that 3rd and 4th, which is going to be decent, I think, for GT10. They're going to be looking very good, I'm sure, towards lobby 4 a little bit later on. Joe Murphy, though, out on top. Ryan in 2nd, Danny Van Ruyten in 3rd. And Mike, who did I say would top the session at the start?
I don't know how many times I gotta tell you to put the lottery on before you actually listen to me and do it. Like I don't know how many times I gotta tell you. Like you're Mystic James at this point.
I am Mr. James, yeah. That's literally the coin phrase, I think, here in EML these days, of me being Mr. James. But it's Joe Murphy out on top, Ryan in second, Danny Van Ruyten there in third. Spreadsheets, I'm sure, will be done in due course. Mateo has already sent the invites out, by the way, for Lobby 3. So if you haven't already joined the lobby, we're going to hotfoot it there as soon as this session finishes. And that means we can gain a little bit of time back as well and get us back on relatively similar schedule as Ryan there is in second out of that session. But Joe Murphy out on top, a 10th and a half clear. Ryan there in second, who's in turn a 10th and a half clear. Danny Van Ruyten there in third. Boyalul there in fourth, with Blunty in fifth. And actually, talking about very tight in the mid pack, Boyalul there for a 13.8, Blunty 13.8, Assi 13.8, Melbury 13.9. 10th and a half, nearly separating 4 drivers there. Very tight indeed. Raymond there in 8th with Osvalde, I don't know, I pronounced that right early on and it's wrong now. 9th position for TTF Man, Rally Monster in 10th, and it's Mattibox in 11th, Jerem there in 12th, and then Palang rounding off the top 13. Sheet is updated, we'll update you that in due course. We're going to go for a quick intermission break. You can enjoy the music once again. We'll be back with you probably in about 2 minutes.
Baseline gonna make man shatter. Baseline gonna make man shatter.
And welcome back, everyone, to qualifying night here for EML Console Tier 1 and Console Tier 2, or just Console in general if you're being picky. We are now here for Lobby 3, and Lobby 3 is stacked full of very familiar names, maybe not so much familiar as well. EVR, by the way, I have just realised that they are that's the wrong driver that I've got on the driver graphic. Which I've just realised now, which is very, very foolish of me. But there we are. So, for Avisio, we've got Lafiti. We have got Nico Rassenberg in for Markensteiner Racing. FRT Typical, former NVR driver, is in there for FRT. Then we've got ERT Links, ex-TML F1 Constructors Champion back in the day. And then we've got TTM Nick in as well. Armateo, defending PSGL PSF1 champion alongside QSL's Gabsa. Then we've got YCN for AXT, former Team Mentalism driver, we believe, here in the chat, along with Tib Racing, who we are missing. So if anybody does know Tib Racing, not the Tib in the chat, who I'm sure is not racing here tonight, if we can get him an invite, that'll be brilliant. If not, we will go without him, and he can join on Lobby 4. DLX have got in Antonio Jesus as a replacement driver for Pablo. OVR have got in Lucas, and then EVR, if I'm not mistaken, have got in Ipswich Techers, which is meant to be on the graphic, and then for CPR we've got Eric Cohagen. So, looking at that list again for Lobby 3, Mike, who's your pick potentially to come out on top?
I mean, there's one man and one man only. The Italian stallion, Matteo, for ETA. There's one man only in my mind that's going to come out on top here.
One man and one man only, even though he's been struggling in PSF1.
I have faith.
You have faith. I don't.
I have faith.
I don't, which is really strange because I'm normally bigging up Matteo like something's not right, to be honest, on most of the streams that I cover. But I just think he said it to me earlier on, actually, because I was messaging him a little bit earlier on. And we have got Tib Racing now in the lobby, which is really good, and we can get underway then once he is joining. What Matteo said to me earlier on, I hope he doesn't mind me saying this, he's been struggling because of the handling changes, which has unveiled extreme difficulties in qualifying. Which, to me, that first line is concerning because it's a qualifying night. This is down to qualifying. We are in the Circuit of the Americas in the United States, a track that he's sometimes normally weak at. Is he going to deliver for ET8, or am I just reading into this a little bit too much?
I mean, time will tell. I'm not going to put it past Matteo to top the time sheet, so...
Yeah, we'll wait and see. We will wait and see. If anyone, I think, TTM Nick could potentially come out on top. I think TTM with Blockman have already had a really, really good send, and hopefully we'll be able to get going very soon. Tim apparently joined the wrong lobby. I did see him join Lobby 2, by the way. I caught it at the corner of my eye. He is in the lobby now. And, speaking of which, we are good to go. That's the wrong screen. I'm going to go to the track map. There we are. 5.5 kilometres in length, 3.4 miles, 20 turns away now, drivers out on track. With 2 DRS zones, one up the hill and towards turn number 1 and one down the straight. The long Buddha International Circuit-esque straight down the straight in towards turn number 12. So, let's hope we are in for a good night. The track map has just disappeared. I thought I had that on a loop. Anyways, we'll get going into qualifying. Matteo potentially going to be one of the guys that's coming out on top in this session. Who else are we looking at potentially being up there? Well, I said to Mike earlier on, Nick, I think, could be up there. I also think for Lobby 3, Lynx could be up there and Typical could be up there. And maybe for a little bit of a shock, maybe for a little bit of an unforgotten, Eric Cohagen for CPI.
Yep, I mean, all very, very good shouts and that, and only time will tell who's actually going to come out on top here. I mean, honestly, I'm going to back Matteo because I know Matteo's picks now from previous games. I haven't seen much of him on this game cycle, so maybe he's lost a little bit of an edge, but I'm still going to back him.
Yeah, you're still going to back it. I'm a little bit skeptic. I'll put it that way about Matteo. He's been struggling in PSF1. He didn't do well in Miami, which is a United States track, and he didn't do well around then. That was only 2-3 weeks ago. So I am probably reading a little bit too much into this, but Matteo is the PSGL PSF1 defending champion. Do not forget about that. He is also a very, very good driver in EML, multiple time race-winning driver in EML for ET8. I think part of that ET8 team that won last season as well in console tier 1, in season 6 even of EML, in the top tier. So, as I say, I might be reading into that a little bit too much, but he is going to steal the limelight because he wants to probably shut me up. He is the first man out on track in an ET8 style livery, which I very much like.
Yep, and first man out on track means that all the screen time will be on him as long as he keeps it valid. So we'll be able to see if he is going to struggle or if he is a little bit of mind games now, maybe lowering the expectations a little bit.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Let's see what Matteo, though, can do on this lap time and on his runs here in qualifying night. If you are enjoying the stream, by the way, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, tick that notification bell if you're brand new to the channel. Console Tier 1 and Console Tier 2 will be getting underway in 2 weeks' time. I'll flag up the calendar right towards the end of this live stream before we reveal who was qualified and what tier. And Matteo is now the first man out on track. So we will see how this is all going to play out, how this is all going to go. Remember, it's a longer track than Hungary, 5.5 kilometers in length, which is averaging around about 1.5 minutes lap worth of time, which might mean, potentially, Mike, only 3 runs could be granted around this track compared to Hungary, where you could get multiple, 4, maybe even 5.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's going to be something that the drivers are going to be thinking about, of course, whether or not they can try and push for 4 runs. It's going to be interesting about Matteo's getting himself underway. Yeah,
Matteo, the Italian stallion, now coming to the left-hander at turn number 1. Very neatly done out of turn number 1. Slight squirrel on the apex. Now coming to the right-hander at turn number 2. Mirroring now the S-section from Japan, coming to the left-hander turn 3, 4, 5. Then to the right-hander turn number 6, but we eventually get there in his first sector. 24.9, bang on, and it's purple in the first sector. So the guy behind him is slower than him, and Matteo is making everyone look quite ordinary right now. Coming through the hill, down the hill, through turn 10, and then into the left-hander now at the end of the straight in towards turn 11. Big lock up there from Matteo. Loses slightly a little bit of time, and that might actually cost him until he gets to the DRS detection point. He's going to lose that little bit of time, and that could cost him in the second phase of his lap time. Now coming down the straight, this long 1 kilometer straight we've got here in the Circuit of the Americas at Austin, Texas. Coming through the left-hander turn number 12. We'll see what Matteo's middle sector is going to be like. It's a 101 flat in the middle sector. Should be seeing mid 1 minute flats, I think, by the end of this session. As Matteo now on box, coming to the left-hander, the turn number 15, and in towards Verstappen corner, the double right, triple right even, at turn 16, 17. Then through this corner here at turn 18, and then in toward the final 2 corners where he potentially could run wide at, coming to the left-hander turn 19, neatly done. Scrubbed off a little bit of speed, now to the left-hander turn number 20, on the run to the line then with Matteo, on the run, and it's a 130.6 to start off the night. Exactly, do you know what? Exactly where I expect them to be. Nico Rassenberg coming in there though, only a 10.5 behind him, and Nick going there in second, 130.7. So Matteo hasn't set an electric lap time, even compared to Typical. He's a 1 minute point 3 in the middle sector, so he's quicker than Matteo.
Yeah, and Nick was a 10th up on Matteo in the middle sector as well. So
Oh!
That final sector is typical. Oh, big snap of oversteer for the FRT man, and not looking good for typical. And it was going to be a 31. Actually, yeah, 31 flat it would have been.
Yeah, and it's a typical invalidation there for the man in FRT and the man currently there down in P8, formerly, of course, of NVR, before they closed down a couple of weeks ago. Oh, Eric O'Hagan coming in there. Going quickest, 30.6. I did say he was one to watch out for, and look at that. He is now out on top. YCN, however, goes quicker with a 130.4. So maybe this session is where it all turns around. YCN out on top. Eric O'Hagan there in second. Mateo there in third. Really strong start to qualifying. We've got Lafiti down on the lap time. Ipswich Techers there, I think was part of EVR's qualifying lineup for Legacy Division last season around Zandvoort. He's now coming through the right-hander now, turn number 2, and then towards the first sector split coming up very soon indeed. Nice red and white looking livery on that car as well. Sunderland through and through, I'm sure it is. Ipswich Techers, 24.9, on par with Mateo through the first sector.
Yeah, it's looking good for Ipswich Techers right now, and coming down in towards the hairpin. A little bit of traffic up ahead, but obviously you'll be hoping that they get out of the way, and good traction on the exit there for Ipswich Techers, and it's going to help him, and he's going to actually snag a little bit of slipstream, or try to at least.
He is indeed. He is indeed. EVR didn't exist before last month, Dame. I'm sure Ipswich Techers was part of another team, and he did qualify for that team in Legacy Division. That's what I'm going on about. Ipswich Techers, though, through this middle sector, 101.3, lagging everywhere, I'm going to say, as he comes through the right-hander turn 14, and then through the double left in towards turn 15. We'll see what this middle sector split is going to be like for the man who apparently supports Ipswich. Now coming through the right-hander, turn 16, 17 and 18. Don't worry, Ipswich will be relegated by the end of the season anyways. Ipswich coming now through the left-hander, turn number 19, and he's invalidated. That's what he gets for supporting a team like that.
He's driven off the track in protest of what you just said then. That's what he's done there.
I'm a Sunderland fan. He's an Ipswich fan, by the way. Ryan, by the way, sent the invites already. Thank you so much, Ryan, for that. We will go into the session in around about 12 minutes' time once we are there at the end of the session. YCN, though, out on top. Eric O'Hagan in second, Mateo there in third. If you're wondering, by the way, Ipswich is our bogey team. Is Sunderland's bogey team. So that's why I am probably, shouting at them as if something's not right, to be honest. I don't mind.
I don't think anyone wants to know what my team is.
It's probably like Carnarvon or something.
No.
No. It's probably like, I don't know, like a non-league side that nobody's ever heard of. 24.7. I will leave you on that thought. 24.7 from OVR Lucas through the first sector. Very, very strong first sector from the man there of Lucas. Now coming through the left-hander of turn number 11. Lucas looking pretty good as he comes down through the left-hand turn 11. Actually, much neater, not carrying as much speed as what Mateo did coming through that final lap. And this is looking very strong early on for OVR, who really do need a pick-me-up after Hungary. They really do need to get a good lap time on the board here. And Lucas potentially could be that man to try and get them that real breakthrough. And now, coming through this middle sector split, 101 flat in that middle sector is bang on where you want to be. He's going probably, I would say, behind Nico Rassenberg right now with this lap time, but he's looking so strong. Coming through the left-hander turn number 15. Shocks are plenty potentially in this lobby coming up. The OVR man now coming through the triple right at turn 16, 17 and 18. Now in toward the left-hander turn number 19. 10 minutes to go in the session. He's from wide there and he losses a lot of speed. Coming out of turn 19. Now through the left-hander turn number 20. He's gone behind Nico Rassenberg for sure with this lap. 31.1. And he goes behind the MR man. So they're in 6th. He didn't get that scrub off speed coming through turn 19. That would have been a 2-tenth improvement. That would have been in the 30s.
Yeah, I just hopped on board with Mateo there, and he was nearly 2 tenths up in sector 1 alone.
Yeah, he's a 10th up, in fact, coming through sector 1 alone. Now coming through down the straight in towards the left-hander at turn number 12, down this long kilometre straight. And it's looking very, very decent indeed for the man there in P3. The ET8 man, the former, the defending PSGL, PSF1 champion. He will be a former champion if he doesn't pick up his ideas. A 1 minute point 8 though, in the middle sector. Maybe I've been a little bit too harsh on the Italian stallion. Now coming through the left-hander turn number 15. We'll see what this lap time is going to be. But this time, it's looking good. Even though we had that snap through 14, this is looking like a better lap.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going back and forth between Matteo and Nick right now, because obviously Nick also on the lap coming into the middle sector split, as Matteo comes to the end of his lap.
And now through the final corner, on the run to the line. Still second though, 30.5, and actually didn't improve much in that final sector either. So, compared to with Eric, who's coming through this first sector, we'll see what his first sector split is going to be like compared to Matteo. 24.7 it was for Matteo, 24.6, and an invalidation for the CPI man. As on literally, he came through the first sector split, was up purple in the first sector, and then he invalidated the same next corner. So, CPI, ETA will be counting their lucky stars. That is very good luck for them. TTM Nick now going in third, 100th of a second off the back of Matteo. YCM, though, currently topping the session for EXC are racing, and he's 400th up in the first sector, so maybe going to be running more Sun on the Moons here.
Yeah, maybe, and I was on board with Nick for the final sector, and he was marginally up at the end of sector 2, so he gained all that time in the final sector. So if he can hook up sector 1 and 2, potentially he could be topping the times.
Ipswich Tech is looking quite good as well now for EVR, coming through the final couple of corners. On the run to the line, he will come 31.3, goes behind Lynx, which is not a bad lap time at all there from the man there in P8. Antonio Jesus there is on the lap, I think, of DLX, coming now through the left-hander turn number 19, then through the left-hander turn number 20. YCN, Matteo, Nick currently out on top. Antonio Jesus, though, will be wanting godly intervention, I think, there to go P10 with a 32.2. That is that's such a bad pun. I'll take that back.
It's too late. It's there forever now.
It is. It's now in the brains of everyone else that is probably hating me right now. YCN out on top, and even more out on top with a 30.4. Lafitte, however, minute flat through the middle sector. Minute 0.9, I think that was, through the middle sector. From the man of Avicio, now coming to the left-hander of turn number 15. And we'll see what this blue and white-looking liveried car can do. Coming through the right-hander now of 16, 17 and 18. Lafitte currently down in 13th. No lap time on the board. Is he going to go Spinella? Maybe in towards turn 20. Let's hope not. Now coming through the final couple of corners on the run toward the line with Lafitte. 4th place, 30.6. Very good lap time on the board.
Yeah, and that is just going to add to what's called Eric's woes about getting his lap invalidated, because now obviously he's got one less opportunity to really put himself up there for CPI.
Definitely, yeah. And Eric Hagen, I don't think has actually been at the pit lane since, so he's just came out of the pit lane now. We've got Gabza, we've got Nico Rassenberg, and we've got Typical, all on a lap time as well. And I'm just going to try and see who is furthest on. It's Nico Rassenberg that is furthest on, because he is coming through the final corner right now to start us on this lap. Mike, I'm going to go for a quick break. Talk us through this one.
Yep, Nico Rassenberg coming up in towards turn number 1, breaking down, getting the car rotated, third gear, the gear choice for Nico there, as we head into the S's here for sector 1. Very important to minimize the distance, take quite a bit of the inside curves, but that's too much of the inside curve, and Nico Rassenberg has unfortunately picked up an invalidation there. Just too much inside curve for Nico. Obviously, while he's out there on a valid run, I'll have a look to see who else is just starting the lap. I believe Typical has just started the lap. Unfortunately, guys, we're going to have to wait for James to come back before we can keep you updated with the visual side of things. But I'll keep you updated with what's going on at the moment for Typical. Typical coming through the first sector split right now, and it's a 24.6 for Typical in the first sector.
Yeah, and he's looking really good indeed. Sorry, I was sending a text message to somebody, which is why I took a break. Typical coming through the left-hander at turn number 10. Now down the left-hander into the left-hander at turn number 11. We'll see what this lap time will be from the ex-NVR man, now part of FLT, of course, since NVR's closure. And Typical will be looking for a typical sort of lap time, I think, here for the WR Console Tier 1 man. Now down the straight in toward the left-hander at turn number 12. This is looking very neatly done indeed for the FRT man. He runs wide there slightly. And a 101.1 is not competitive, I would say, through the middle sector, compared to Matteo, who's been quicker with a minute 0.7 in the middle sector. Typical minute is going between Nico Wassenberg and Lucas with this lap time. It's a little bit of a shock because I would expect them to be bang up there with YCN, Matteo, Nick, the likes of the quicker guys in this session. Maybe it's just the handling of this game, and he's definitely proving that through turn 19. Has a real snap and a correction through turn 19. Now to the left hand of turn number 20. On the run to line comes Typical. It's a good lap time, but there is a lot to find still on that lap.
Yeah, and he's going to be incredibly hard-pressed to get back to the pits, get in and get back out.
Definitely. And Erica Hagen, I think, is, or was on a lap time. I think, actually, he has just ran aground, if I'm not mistaken. He has just stopped running with the ERS, so that means he's down on this run. The man of CPI, they're currently in fifth. So currently, 3 minutes and 20 seconds ago. Final run's going to be incoming soon. YCN out on top. For Matteo there in second. Nick there in third. Lafitte there in fourth. Then it's Erica Hagen in fifth. He's 100th off him, actually, there in fifth. Typical in sixth, then Nico Wassenberg in seventh, Lucas there in eighth, Lynx there round off the top nine, Ipswich Checkers just on up on a lap there in P10, Gabs are 11th, Antonio Jesus there in 12th, and then Tib Racing, who has had connection issues, is down there in P13. Nordic Ninja in the chat saying, man's not hot, so such banger song. Not sure what Nordic Ninja's going on about. This is EML, this is Console Tier 1, this is everything that you love, I'm sure, about Esports Masters League. Ipswich Techers, though, proving that he's got Techers for the first second. He's a 10th and a half up.
Yep, 10th and a half up for Ipswich Techers, and obviously I'm seeing a lot of mathematics going on in the chat, but they're forgetting the infamous So Solid Crew one. 2 multiplied by 10 plus 1 when we all done.
Oh, they're learning maths apparently. Okay. Tell me then, without a calculator, what's 3.142 times by 100? There you go. Essentially, Checkers is coming to the left-handed turn of a 12. While we sort that maths problem out, 101.1, 2.5 tenths up, coming through the right-hander. Much neater, actually. Coming through this part of the lap time, looks much more grounded on the floor with this setup. Now coming through the left-hander of turn number 10. Turn number 15 even. Through turn 16, through the right-hander turn 17, through the right-hander turn number 18, and then in towards turns 19 and 20. Don't worry, Nordic Ninja. Algebra is a thing over here in the UK, as now we come through the final corner. On the run to the line, Techers has got Techers on this lap. Goes 8th. Good lap time. 31.1. Puts EVR potentially in the mix for Console Tier 2.
Yep, good lap there for Ipswich Techers. OVR Lucas on the lap, marginally up in the first sector as he comes down to the hairpin. See if we can get a good run onto this DRS straight. As Typical is retired from the session, so he wasn't able to get back in and back out in time. So unfortunately for the FRT man, but we're on board with OVR Lucas right now. Coming down towards the break-in for turn 12, and of course, looking at that middle sector split. Oh, it's a 1 minute 0.9.
Yeah, and a 10th and a half up indeed. Looking through by how quick Harvey was, by the way, in terms of that answer. He definitely used the calculator on that. Nordic Ninja didn't, so there we are. Lucas now coming through the triple right at turn 16, 17, through the right-hander at turn number 18, and then in toward the left-hander of turn number 19. And then into the left-handed turn number 20. I'll give you another maths problem in just a second. Or nearly getting blocked there by a car starting up on their lap. I think that was Erica Hagen for CPI. If I'm not mistaken, Lucas just about got to the end of his lap time, 30.9. I think, though, that could go to the stewards because Lucas may feel he was definitely impeded there somewhat by Erica Hagen, even though he was off track.
Potentially. I mean, Eric Hagen, they taking a very wide line to obviously straighten the car up for the final corner. But that definitely just compromised how much of the track Lucas could actually use. And Eric just starting his lap up now. I was just on board with...
Mateo's coming in. Sorry to cut you off. YCN! Oh my word, that's not going to be beaten. Mateo through the final corner. On the run to the line. Oh, he goes close. 30.3. The absolutely electric final sector there from him. Nick is up on a lap time as well. Lafitte, I think, is up. He's purple in the middle sector. Is Lafitte. So definitely looking good right now. This is really eye-opening. And this is on for quite a few teams that had a poor qualifying 1 in Lobby 1. Now they're going for Lobby 3. YCN out on top. Mateo in second. Nick to the line, 30.4. Lafiti, though, could top the whole lot. On the run to the line. Oh, and he doesn't in the end, but he goes third. 30.4, lost time in that final sector. Erica Hagen's 3/10 up, though.
Yeah, I was about to say Eric Hagen, 3/10 up, and he could be getting himself up in the third.
He's on wide. No.
Oh, and that's going to be incredibly frustrating for him and the CPA lads.
30.6, and that with a 3/10 improvement could have been a 30.3. You're just going to have to put that into perspective. Going into the final session, Nico Rassenberg is done from the session. Lucas is done from the session as well. It is YCN out on top. It's Matteo there in second. Lafiti there in third. Potentially, though, with drivers recording lap times, which is mandatory, of course, here within qualifying night, which was missed quite literally by me and by quite a few of our openings until about 15 minutes before the session was due to begin, that the laps do need to be recorded. So if CPI have blocked them, and there's a report put in, then that will be investigated behind the scenes along with the standings getting done. So there we are. YCN, though, out on top. For EXC, I'm going to say it was a big shock, but the former Team Mental is a man. Out on top, the current PSGL PSF1 champion Matteo there in second. Lafiti there in third with Nick in fourth. Erica Hagen there round up the top five. Then Typical in sixth. Nico Rassenberg in seventh. Lucas there in eighth. Ipswich Tech is there in ninth. Lynx, disappointing down in P10 for ERT. Gabs are there in 11th, Antonio Jesus there in 10th, in 12th even, and then Tip Racing there down in 13th. Lynx, I think, if I'm not mistaken, has been on PC as well as PS, so maybe just trying to manufacture somewhat between them both. But Lobby 4 is going to begin very soon indeed. We're going to go for our final intermission break of this. Hopefully, everything will go well, and we will be back with you in a couple of minutes.
Baseline gonna make man shut up. Baseline gonna make man shatter. Baseline gonna make man shatter.
Welcome back, everyone, for the final time from our final intermission break that we are having tonight to Esports Masters League. This is not F1 23. If anybody is still wondering why I haven't changed that, I will change it after the stream is done. Season 7, it is the console qualifying night. We are here once again in the United States, and we have got 13 drivers about to do battle around this track to qualify their teams for console tier 1, 10 in console tier 1 and 10 in console tier 2. Let's have a look, shall we, at who is going to be partaking in Lobby 4. We have got TGF Paul Power, we've got LRN Thomas, we have got BRC Santero for IRT, then we've got Creedom in for CRE, then it's FGE Kieran, Shazoo Alpha Gully, PSF1 man, of course, QT10 Quartz, it was a very quick driver, they may qualify as an outside chance, potentially for console tier 1. Then we've got FRC Jerem at the bottom there, and then we have got Enduro Termix, AMS Ward, then we've got NLR Spicer, very familiar name, BRT Justin, who I'm very much looking forward to seeing around this track, and RSC Jerome Ellen right down on the bottom end of the field there. So we've got 13 drivers about to do battle. We can ready up once again for the final time here tonight, and Shluby there in the chat saying Paul Parrott is a tier 2 race winner. if I'm not mistaken, was that Monday or was that Friday WR? Correct me if I'm wrong. Mike, anyways, what's your thoughts about Lobby 4?
Lobby 4 is going to be interesting. Obviously, a few of these guys I have had the privilege of commentating over before, the likes of obviously LRN Thomas, Spicer, of course, for NLR Quads for GT10, and of course Alpha Gully in the past. It's going to be interesting because I think from what we learned from Lobby 3 is literally wide open now for any of these guys to kind of break themselves into qualifying for either console tier 1 or tier 2. Like, it's wide open now.
Which is a good thing because me and the admins were deciding on 2 console tier tracks. By the way, the original ones were due to be Silverstone and Spain, and both of them got chosen within the calendar. So that's why we had to come up with 2 tracks that we chose. Immediately set our sights on COTA because it's a very, very good track. It's a longer track than Hungary. And then we went, you know what? Why don't we get a little bit of content coming from Hungary? Because the curves can be deadly around there. There can be a few spins. There can be a few invalidations. So that's why we've ended up with both tracks as they are. COTA and indeed Hungary earlier on. COTA, though, is a real test. It is one of those tests where I think drivers, you either love or you hate it. I know Mike hates it because he spun around here once in TML back in the day in Division 4.
And the EML.
And EML back in the day in Division 2, if I'm not mistaken, as well. Back in Season 4, I think it was. But enough about Mike's Spinella moments around this track. The first guys are coming out on track, and BRT Justin is the first man to come out on track. And BRT Justin is a stonking driver, I have got to say, as well. Very consistent, has been a part of the team for God knows how long. And BRT Justin is a console tier 1 driver for WR as well. So he'll be hoping to try and put BRT on the front foot, especially given they're one of the top teams with Joe Murphy's lap in Hungary.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to see what Justin's going to be able to do here because he's the first man out on track. And much like what happened with Matteo in the previous lobby, all eyes will be on Justin as long as he keeps it valid.
Schlooby there saying in the chat, COTA was a horrible choice, to be fair. Track limits there are a bit buggy. Yeah, they are a bit buggy. We tested it in online sessions and found it to be fine, so that's why we didn't change the track. If we found issues with the track, then we would have changed the track, and certainly I would have changed the track as well because I was the one that designed both the ideas for Hungary and indeed for COTA. So you can have me to thank for that one. But BRT Justin is one of the first men out on track indeed. Santero there is in for IRT. Santero, if I'm not mistaken, is he who I think he is? Former NLR driver. I don't know. Nordic Ninja put it in the chat and now he's deleted his message, which is making me think otherwise.
Potentially. Not entirely sure, but Justin's just about getting his lap underway, so James, I'll let you take us through the lap with him.
And the FGE man of Kieran is just ahead of him as well on this lap time, so we'll try and compare his first sector compared to Justin's first sector. It'll be literally a quick flick between them both. Kieran's first sector split is coming up right about now, and it's a 24.7 in the first sector. Very consistent through the first sector, and Justin's at 24.8. So already, Kieran Nag is up on Justin's lap time by 300ths of a second, coming through that first sector split. Kieran Nag coming down into the left-hander of turn number 11. We'll get to the middle sector split. We'll do exactly the same thing with their lap times, and we'll try and compare them side by side, if we can, coming through the final sector as well. Alpha Gully used to be an NLR. He did indeed, as Nordic Ninja said. Vive l'Enduro there, saying Termix, who is competing in the session as well for Enduro, down there in 12th position right now with their lap time being setting. Kieran Maxwell middle sector, 1 minute 1 flat. Justin's middle sector, 1 minute 0.875. So Justin found all of that time back from Kieran in the first sector. 300ths down, remember, through that first sector. Justin is more 2/10ths up through the middle sector. Kieran now coming through the right-hander at turns 16, 17 and 18. And then in toward the final couple of corners at turns 19 and indeed the left-hander at turn number 20 as well. Looking like a decent lap from both of them. FGE man, I think, is going to be a couple of tenths behind Justin with this lap. Kieran now through the final corner. Bit of a squirm. 30.9. Justin now to the line. Goes quicker. 30.5. And all of that time, Mike, was made in the middle and the final sectors of that lap for the BRT man.
Yeah, as Alpha Gully goes in with a 30.6 as well, so splitting the pair. But yeah, Justin there just so much better in the middle sector than Kieran, and it just that was the difference in the end.
Yeah, definitely so. Quartz coming down through the final couple of corners. Hopefully going to be dynamite as he comes to the line. 30.625. Not a bad lap there at all from the GT10 man. Has been proven to be quick in the past. Alpha Gully is up there. Spies are up there as well. So actually a tenth of a second, just covering the top four, is very neat stuff indeed. The IRT man now, Centero, coming through the right-hander at turn 16, 17 and 18. We'll see what his lap time is going to be. Jav, if you're still here, will be very happy that I'm now right on board with an IRT man, now coming through the left-hander at turn number 19, and then toward the final corner at turn number 20. He's looking relatively slow compared to the front guys on the run to the line. 31.5, nowhere near where we expect them to be, really. Just a Noah out on top, Quartz in second, Alpha Gully in third. And to be honest, Mike, I've said this before and I'll say it again. It's probably expected that them guys are up there in the top four.
Yeah, it's to be expected at this point. It's just a case of which order they're going to be in.
Yeah, definitely so. TTF man Paul Power there down in P6 as well. We've got Dom on a lap time, who is Predom, of course, part of the CRE team. CRE, Clout Racing Esports, of course, the Xbox side of things. They could be competing in the Legacy Division for season number 5. I may as well just throw it out there. Legacy Division sign-ups are open. If you do want to sign up for that, I will be commentating on that. It hasn't been announced yet, but I will be commentating on that for season number 5. So there you go. There's an exclusive. Shush. Just keep it on the download. I'll be commentating on Legacy Division. So there you go. Justin Knight on top, Quartz in second, Alpha Gully there in third. Not that it's a surprise to everyone, I'm sure, that I'm going to be commentating on Legacy Division again. But Dom on an outlap right now, down in 13th, no lap time set on the board, but he's on a fresh set of softs, and that's going to suit him hopefully quite well.
Yeah, absolutely. And Dom out there on an outlap right now, going to be getting himself up ready to go on this flying lap. And honestly, I was just doing a little bit of fact checking just to see if I actually ever have completed a race around here, COTA, because it got me interested to see if I've actually ever completed one.
Have you not won around this track before in EML?
I've never won an EML race.
Oh, you've never won an EML race? I must have just imagined that maybe in my wildest dreams sometime. But
The
there we
best I've
are.
ever done is got a fastest lap. That was it. I got a fastest lap one time.
That's what it might have been, or pole position, or something like that. I remember. But then again, my limits are not great when it comes to memory. Justin out on top though, Quartz there in second, Alpha Gully there currently in third, and now Dom coming through, or Predom even, coming through left-hand turn 3, right-hand turn 4, left-hand turn 5, right-hand turn number 6, first second split coming in for Predom, 25.1 with a very sketchy setup on that rear end.
Yeah, it's definitely looking a little bit unstable at the rear end, but Dom keeping it all together right now. But you gotta wonder if that if the rear end's just gonna cost him in this final sector now.
Definitely so. YCN saying F2 was better than F1 last season. I'll go and watch Singapore EML F1 last season and you'll know why. Yep. Dom now coming through the final couple of corners in this middle sector. We'll see what this middle sector split is going to be like. 101.7, yeah, nowhere near where we expect to be with the top guys. Justin Quartz, Alpha Gully should be setting mid 1 minutes through there, to be honest, on their laps. Dom now coming through the left-hander of turn number 15, and in towards the right-hander turn 16, 17, and 18. May as well get a lap time on the board, because you never know where it will put you. You never know, with those 20 positions available, 10 for console tier 1, 10 for console tier 2, it really does matter to get a lap time in. Even if it's the worst lap of your lifetime, you can still get a lap time and you can still qualify. Pedro on the one to the line, 10th, 132 flat, a second and a half off the back of Justin. Justin just starting up on lap, in fact, in front of him. Kieran Nag is through the first sector and he is 1100 top. Alpha Gully is about to reach the same period as well. I'm actually right on board with Alpha Gully. Before I hand back over to Mike, Alpha Gully through the first sector split. 24.8, a tenth and a half up, but he had a big snap coming through turn number 5.
Yeah, that's definitely amazing invalidation there for Alpha Gully. So it's all gone for him now. Justin also invalidating his lap as well. So go jumping back on board with Kieran here as he comes down towards the middle sector split. And let's see if Kieran's found time in this middle sector. And he's actually over a 10th down on his middle sector split. And this is where he was poor earlier versus Justin. And he hasn't found the time there again.
Yeah, definitely so. Kieran Nag, though, coming through the final couple of corners. Certainly his team will be nagging him to get every inch out of this car. Coming to the left-hander turn number 19. People are really going to kill me with these puns, I am honestly sure. Kieran Nag coming to the left-hander, though, into the pit lane. He comes, and no wonder he's probably thought, that pun was absolutely shocking. I'm not even giving you the credit. Alpha Gully, though, by the way, was a 10th and a half up, but he invalidated some point in that middle sector. So, he's down there in P3, just on the wide on top. Quartz there in second, Alpha Gully there in third, and Quartz also invalid, I think, at the top of the hill through turn 10.
Yeah, Spicer, the man currently on a flying lap, coming to the middle sector split right now. Of course, in the chat, they say, let Spicer cook, and he's marginally up in the middle sector, and it might just be enough to get himself ahead of Quartz and Alpha Gully here, as long as he can maintain it in the final sector. Yeah,
definitely so. Spicer now coming through the right-hander. The turn number 16, 17, 18 usually spies the gap normally in the racing. Here in qualifying night, however, this is all different for him. The NLR man now coming to the left-hander turn number 20 at the final corner at the Circuit of the Americas. Spicer on the run to line. Oh, and he spies top spot, 30.428. Very good lap time there from Spicer. A 10th and a half clear of Justin. And again, I'll say this again, Mike, about this, as Jerome Mellon's on a lap time flying through the left-hander turn number 19, just remaining valid for now. Coming through the left-hander turn number 20, the RSC man on the run to line. Big improvement final sector, nearly a 9/10 improvement, goes 9th, so good lap there from him for the RSC boys. But Spicer out on top. What I was about to say is Spicer, that 10th and a half gap between him and Justin, it's a bit like Hungary with Joe Murphy, where he was so far ahead of everyone else. Normally around here, you get a lot of invalidations late on. Could we perhaps see the same in their final runs?
Potentially. I mean, this track very easy to invalidate. Honestly, I was just on board with Santero crossing the line going up into P7 there. So Santero putting a good lap together. But yeah, I mean, it's such an easy track to invalidate at the way. All these drivers are just going to be on the teetering edge of track limits, I think, when it comes to their final runs. And it could go for them, it could go against them. Only time will tell.
Only time will tell, indeed. Spicer was still on board with there. Just trying to see if there's anybody else on a lap time right now. Santero isn't, but he did improve 5.5 tenths. Paul Parrott isn't, 3 tenths down. Thomas isn't. Jerome Mellon is getting into blows with a driver who's ahead of him out on track, and I'm not sure who that is out on track ahead of him. Is it somebody in an outlet, potentially? I think it is. I think it's Alpha Gully, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody telling me to shut up in the background there with the oi there. Spicer out on top, just in second. Quartz there in third. Alpha Gully is coming through the final couple of corners at turn 19. He's going to go on to his lap time very soon indeed. We'll get Mike to sort out whatever that noise was in the background. Kieran Nag coming down the hill in towards turn number 2, however, is just starting up on a lap time, and we'll see what his first sector split is going to be like. Coming to the left hand of turn number 5, through the right hand of turn number 6. Kieran Nag, invalid, but at 24.6 in the first sector, was looking good until he invalidated. As Mike is sorting out that racket in the background, I'm absolutely given. Spicer, though, out on top from Justin in second. Alpha Gully there, currently, Quartz there in third. Alpha Gully there in fourth. Alpha Gully is up through the first sector. He's actually hanging on to his battery all the way down the hill now, in toward the left-hander at turn number 11. And we'll see how everything is going so far with Alpha Gully. And then through the left-hander at turn number 11. On the run there down the left-hander in towards turn number 12. Spicer, Justin, Quartz out on top. Alpha Gully in fourth, but here is who I nicknamed Sea Gully on the run now down in towards turn number 12, and we'll see what this lap time is going to be through this middle sector. 1 minute, 0.8, a 10th and a half up. The Sea Gully is flying maybe to the top spot.
And I am back. I have confirmed it was a cat that was clawing something, and my sister decided to shut the cat. So. It is all good.
That was the oi in the background. And Alpha Gully nearly loses it through turn 19. Goodness me, the car absolutely on ropes. He's lost all of that time on the run to the line. He's only 600ths off. That was a monumental mistake coming out the final couple of corners. He's there down in P4. Alpha Gully, though, 4th position. That lap time could have been really special for him if he just ironed out that mistake through the final 2 corners.
Yeah, I was on board with Justin. I just saw him dive into the pace, but Quartz 2 times up in the middle sector right now, and is flying on his lap and could potentially dethrone Spicer here.
Yeah, Quarter's looking electric right now, out on track. The GT10 man now coming to the double right. Oh, the triple right even at turn 16, 17, 18. He's barely got any battery left, though, to use in the final sector. He knows that because he's just invalidated completely through the final couple of corners. He will have time for another run if he's quick about it, but Quartz there was looking so good up until that point that it just comes to show the ERS management that is in this game. You've got to really manage the battery, especially around a track like this. If you're on 7% battery coming to the right-hand of turn number 18, you've used too much too quick, and Quartz has probably realised that.
Yeah, and he just turned in a little bit too early for the penultimate corner as well. Honestly, it's a mistake that can be made many times around that particular corner. It's so easy to do, and Quartz just got caught out by it.
He did get caught up by it, indeed. Just trying to see if there's anybody else on the lap time right now.
Thomas.
And Thomas has just started up on a run. That's one of the cars getting in the way there on the left-hand side, as Ward's, I think that might have been, if I'm not mistaken. Thomas, though, is down 2.5 tenths, and I think he is going to be down in this first sector. He's back off.
And Juro Mellon also just started a lap in behind him as well. Over a 10th up in the first sector for Juro Mellon.
Neither in the chat saying Spicer is him, and Winker in the chat saying keep focused Termix. Termix, they're down in P13, 32.2 currently his personal best. He's 2 seconds off the back of Spicer, so we'll be hoping maybe to try and get a lap time on the board. Jero Mellon, though, speaking of which, is going to try and get a lap time on the board. Now into the left-hander of turn number 12, on board with the French outfit for the RSC team. Now coming to the left-hander of turn number 12. 1 minute 1.5 in the middle sector. Not looking too bad at all from Jero Mellon right now. He is looking to try and get in amongst Paul Power, Thomas, but he doesn't because he invalidates at 10:15. That is the ultimate frustration. But Mike, he's 20 seconds away from potentially not getting another lap time in. He will get another lap time in, which is very beneficial if he can charge that ERS.
Yeah, and he's got about 70% on him, so he'll have to make do with what he's got and get himself geared up for another lap, and we're going to see if he's going to be able to find the time. The good thing for Thomas, he obviously invalidated early on in his lap, so he's been able to save more of that battery up to push on for his follow-up lap here. But drivers are now out of the pits, as we got Kieran also on our lap, as well as Woods. So we're going to see some good times coming in now, James.
Yeah, and Kieran's up in the first sector. It's not now because he's invalid at the top of the hill at turn number 10. Very tricky corner. Charles Leclerc famously rode in the sunset in there in I think it was last year, 2023. If I'm not mistaken, in Friday Practice 1, I think it was. Then Kieran Nagbo currently in fifth. Spicer, however, is on a lap time right now. The NLR man did improve 2.5 tenths on his final run just before he's coming on this front. We'll see what his first sector split is like. Right on board with him. 24.7, and he is up in that first sector. So Spicer looking very decent indeed right now. Coming to the left-hand of turn number 10. Now down the hill. Sorry, in towards turn number 9 even. Down in towards turn number 10. Then in toward the left-hand of turn number 11. Casper Flack saying hi there in the chat. Hello to you, Casper Flack. Hope you're doing really, really well. Spicer out on top. Justin there in second. Quartz there in third. Right now, NLR, BRT, Shazoo, and possibly even Grand Track stand on a very good precipice of getting into console tier 1. The results will come through literally as soon as this session is done. We don't know how it's going to go, but Spicer wants to try and commit this for NLR because he's 10.5 up in the middle sector. But Mike, he's just lost all of that time with a slight slide coming out of 14.
Yeah, he just had a little bit of a wiggle there, did Spicer, and that's definitely going to cost him a decent amount of time there. But we're going to see just how much he has lost altogether as comes through the penultimate corner now. Spicer, all about the final corner, locks up the front left, but gets the car rotated to the line. It is an improvement, but is it going to be beaten by anyone? That's the question. Quartz is the next one going to be coming towards the line here.
If he irons out this mistake coming through turn 19, this is on for Quartz, and it's absolutely on. coming through turn 19. Now through the left-hander turn number 20. He is absolutely flying here, Quart. On the run to the line. He irons out the mistake, but he only goes second. 30.4. Big lap time from him. Justin coming in with a big lap time. He's 500s up on the run to the line, and he now set to 30.4. So this is really close indeed. Alpha Gully is slightly up for Team Chazoo in the middle sector. They look pretty much on, I think, to qualify, thanks to the help of their earlier driver. Alpha Gully now, though, coming through the left-hander of turn number 15. In towards turn 16, 17 and 18. Let's see if he can fly and sprout wings in this final sector. Now coming through the left-hander at turn number 19. Very much a correction, really correcting the car on the exit of turn 19. Now through the left-hander turn number 20. Don't think he's improving on this lap. Alpha Gully to the line. Does improve. It's very minimal, but it could be enough for them to get into console tier 1. Kieran Nag is down the lap time. Ward's on the run to the line for AMS, and he doesn't improve in the end. 4 tenths down the lap time. Ward's is done. Kieran Nag is done. We are done. Spicer out on top in lobby 4. Quartz in second, and Justin rounding off the top 3. Very good end to that qualifying session, and a very good end to that qualifying night.
Yeah, and Spicer will be very happy with his lap time at the end there. Obviously topping the timeshare in this lobby, but I'm very curious to see now how everything is going to shape up for Tier 1 and Tier 2 here.
Definitely so. They'll be getting inputted right now, I'm sure, with the live results. Spicer out on top, though, from Quartz in second, Justin in third, Alpha Gully in fourth, 2.5 tenths covering the top fours, not half bad. Kieran Nag in fifth, Wards in sixth, Santero in seventh, Paul Parrott eighth, Thomas in ninth, Yaram ran off the top 10, and Yaramel and Dom, and then Enduro Termex right down the bottom end of the field. Please, please hang on with us, because we are going to get the live results out as soon as they are done. They are being inputted right now on the spreadsheet. I don't want to give anything away. You have got access to the spreadsheet if you do want to spoil the result for yourself, and don't spoil it for anyone else. You can have a look yourself, but if you need an additional thing for the spreadsheet, I will try, if I can, and put it... Oh, I need the link again. Hang on. I thought that was gonna work, but it's not. Hang on. Give me a second. It's telling me to open it with Safari. That's not great. Anyways, sessions are done, so that means we are gonna go to... What are we gonna go to? Point system. That's what we're going to go to for EML going forward for season number 7. It is very similar to the point system that ran, of course, last season. And Mike, it rewards everyone. 30 points for the winner, 25 points for second, 20 points for third. Rewards everyone, gives everyone a bit of a good time. And yeah, I think there's not much more that needs to be said about the point system, to be honest, other than it rewards everyone and it is very, very forgiving, and hopes to try and provide some very quick racing and very close racing as well.
Yeah, and honestly, like, I'll say this as well, it rewards drivers not giving up as well. Like, even if you're having a bad race, even if you are incredibly slow, always keep going, because there's points all the way down to 19th place.
Definitely so. The spreadsheet has been finalised for the final time. I'm just seeing, though, inputted results. Oh, I don't know where that came from. Inputted results coming in. Ooh, interesting. Is what I'll say. If those are official, that's very interesting indeed. People may be able to view that now, actually, on the spreadsheet. If that is done, I will get confirmation, and I'm sure a ping saying that it is all good to go, and that we are all good and everything's above board and there's no admin stewarding reports to do or whatever. Let me know in the chat and let me know on Discord if we are good to go with that. I don't want to spoil anything, but what I will say, Mike, with the average time that has been set between the teams, there is 0.4 of a second covering the top 10 teams in console tier 1 on average time.
Yep, and the same for tier 2 as well.
Yep. And I'm honestly relatively not surprised about how console tier 1 is going to be shaping up and how console tier 2 is going to be shaping up as well. There's not many shocks, I'll be honest, in there.
I
But
mean,
I'm not revealing anything, though. Not yet.
nah, I mean, now we're not revealing nothing. No, 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 we're going to keep you guys in suspense.
Now we're going to end the stream here. Thanks for watching.
Yeah,
Goodbye.
yeah, right.
Nah, we wouldn't do that. We wouldn't do that. As long as we get something saying that the results are done, I will be very glad to share them with you. However, though, we can have a look at the calendar, which is what I can reveal on the stream, and revealed it, I think, 2 weeks ago to the day. We are, of course, going to Austria for round number 1 of the championship, August 21st, 2 weeks' time. So no racing next week. We are back on August 21st. Japan for round number 2, and then we've got Monza round number 3, September the 4th. Saudi Arabia round number 4 on September the 11th, and then the Dutch Grand Prix at Zandvoort before break week on the September 18th. And then we've got a break week in between, and then it's Spain on October the 2nd, Britain on October the 9th, Belgium on for round number 8 on the 16th of October, Qatar on the 23rd of October for round 9, and then Brazil rounding off the season. It's not an EML season without Brazil ending it. It is October 30th. That might be the only race that I can't attend because it's my girlfriend's birthday on that day. So might have to scrub commentary. Let's just hope some team wins the championship by then, and it's not like a 3-way tie going into the final round of the season.
Oof, that'll be an awkward conversation if you do comms instead of doing that. Oh, I would not want to be in your shoes now, mate.
I'd rather spend time with my girlfriend than commentate on Brazil, to be honest, but there we are. We can, though, reveal, I've been given the go-ahead now to do this. It has been confirmed before penalty, so any steward reports that have been coming in are going to get investigated as the night goes on. There'll be an official ruling on the 10 teams. They'll be done in graphic form, and they'll be out tomorrow, if we can get it done by then. They'll be done by tomorrow afternoon. But for now, provisionally, the results are as follows. And I'm going to go with Console Tier 2 first. And I'm going to go from the bottom up for Console Tier 2, just to add a little bit more suspense. So, in 10th place, and qualifying for Console Tier 2, are, oh, it's just changed actually, are AMS for round number, for qualified 10th in Console Tier 2, 9th in Console Tier 2, and qualifying are CRE. 8th in qualifying are ERT. LRN are 7th and qualified for Console Tier 2. OVR are 6th and qualified for Console Tier 2. TGF are 5th. EVR are 4th. IRT are back down to Console Tier 2 after their really good season last season in Console Tier 1. They have qualified 3rd fastest. FGE have qualified 2nd fastest. And in a little bit of a surprise, actually, to me, Markensteiner Racing topped the timing sheets for Console Tier 2. So those are the 10 teams. MR, FGE, IRT, EVR, TGF, OVR, LRN, ERT, CRE, and AMS. Congratulations to every single team there. It does mean not qualifying are DLX, RSE, QSL, FRC, DF, and Enduro. So if you got through the 16 teams that haven't qualified for Console Tier 1, you'll know who's in Console Tier 1. But I will read it out nonetheless. Qualifying 10th, with an average of a 122.1, Grand Track 10, with that stonking that by quartz, got them through in America and got them through after a disappointing first session in Hungary. FRT have qualified 9th. Congratulations to FRT. Good to see them. Maybe coming last in another tournament going forward. EXT are rounding off in P8. And then Team Shazoo down in 7th. Team Shazoo down in 7th, but qualifying for Console Tier 1. And that ended up being their letdown, I think, was in America, which we've just seen. A 30.5 and a 13.3 were the lap times set for Team Shazoo. CPI have qualified 6th. Then EVE Avisio have qualified 5th. NLR have qualified 4th, ET8 have qualified 3rd, BRT have qualified 2nd, which means, thanks to Flopman and thanks to Nick, TTM top qualifying night for console tier 1 and the qualifying night overall. So TTM get the spoils from BRT, ET8 and NLR with EVE, CPI, Shazoo, EXT, FRT and GT10 rounding off the top 10. Breathe, everyone, breathe. That's a lot of information to take in. I will do graphics though as the night goes on when we get the stewarding done and everything. Graphics will be put out on Discord, will be put out hopefully on social media as well, confirming the qualified teams. That is all provisional right now, so take that with a pinch of salt. But Mike, looking at those 10 teams qualified for each console tier 1 and console tier 2, console tier 1, I'm not entirely surprised with. Console tier 2, IRT and ERT, I think are the big shocks in there.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a particularly. It's not the standard like that we used to from ERT and IRT for that matter in qualifying. But you know, maybe when it comes to the season now, we'll see them rise up as they have done in the past. Obviously, tier 1 is that. Likewise, I'm not seeing many shocks there at all. I think probably the biggest shock was Shazoo being 7th. I think that's the biggest shock in in tier 1.
Definitely, and maybe I would say TTM topping the timing sheets as well. I know TTM have really built their PlayStation side quite a lot, but TTM were, I think, mid-pack, if I'm not mistaken, in EML Season 6 in Console Tier 1, and they rebuilt their side for F1 24. You can tell they've rebuilt their side because they are on top. Well done to Flopman, well done to Nick. Both great drivers in their own right and qualifying them well. But qualifying is one thing, racing is a completely different thing. And we will see you in 2 weeks for the Austrian Grand Prix on August 21st. PC, by the way, if you're wondering about PC qualifiers going on, there'll be an announcement coming in the next couple of days regarding the future of PC, regarding potential movements in terms of days, things like that. There'll be announcements coming out on Discord in due course. So keep pinned to Discord. If you haven't joined the Discord already, then where have you been? Please join the Discord. And also, a question that has been burning for regarding prize pool. It was advertised as a free entry for qualifiers. We will have discussions about whether or not we're going to have that prize pool for console tier 1 and console tier 2. More than likely, I'm of the opinion, certainly, and I'm the one that probably gets the final say on things. I think it'll be a good thing to have a prize pool. Not matter if it's like, what, £100, £200, something like that. It'll be along those lines. That will probably be a prize pool for console tier 1 and console tier 2. We want to reward you guys. It's not going to be like the NLR rig from the last couple of seasons, but we want to give you guys something to work for and something to thank you for signing up. So there we are. They will be discussions around about that prize pool, and that will be announced in due course. So keep an eye on Discord for all of the latest information regarding that. Mike, though, final thoughts from you. Fantastic end to that qualifying night. Congratulations to all 20 teams that have qualified. For the 6 teams that haven't qualified, exposure matters more than anything. DLX, RSC, QSL, FRC, DF, and Enduro will be very proud of their own performances. Not enough to get through, but certainly they should be proud of the exposure that they have received in front of, what, 100, 110 people I think we had on the stream?
Yeah, I mean, obviously for the teams that didn't make it, obviously, you know, first things first, like these commiserations for the 6 teams, but obviously you never know what can happen, and making sure you're around to step in as a reserve team could, of course, you know, help out massively, and obviously give you guys great competition to go up against. Because, you know, I mean, it's happened in the past where, you know, a reserve team has had to step in, and they've performed well, and they've been able to improve over the time. So definitely, you know, they shouldn't be too downhearted by not qualifying. There's still going to be plenty of opportunities for those 6 teams. That is for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So we will get that in graphical form on the Discord and everything. It is remembering the before the pens, so the pens will be applied afterwards. If there's any changes, we will let you know. And Vila Princess also putting in the chat, don't forget to fix the year on the VOD later. Thank you so much. I will do that as soon as I end this stream, because we do not want another F123 stream on this channel. Thank you so much. But thank you to everyone that tuned in for tonight's qualifying night. I really hope you did enjoy it. If you did, like, comment, subscribe. Tick that notification bell if you're brand new to the channel. We will be back with you 2 weeks' time for Console Tier 1 and Console Tier 2, 7 PM and 8 PM UK time on August 21st at the Austrian Grand Prix at the Red Bull Ring. For myself, James Head, and for Michael Edwards, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.